there's a whole reason why each guild specifically has a specific class. We really believe that the hoods and those darker characters are going to be the undead, and we believe that the avatars and the these priests are going to be the disciples of Pavo, and as well as you're going to have your fighters, your grave robbers, and all of these different types of characters, and they all really have to play into a specific guild. So as the story gets revealed a little bit more, you'll kind of understand why each class is fit into its specific guild, and hopefully you guys can go, oh, I have a story about a gladiator I'd like to add in there, or a sailor I'd like to add in there, and because it's in that class, you have a kind of a guideline of specific types of races and things that you might do, and then you play off of those, and I think you'll create a real interesting story that will go along with our story, and that way it'll be real easy to integrate it, and we'll all be basically creating towards the same goal to begin with, this TrueCraft world. So we're not necessarily looking to create any more classes, but if you guys have some great ideas, we're always looking to add great ideas. Pavo is deep in the whole entire story, and he's got a huge history behind everything, and his story basically, he comes from a different universe, and this universe is something that you have to really get in the story to learn all about. But we wanted to break it all down and kind of make it like a country, and just kind of say, what if our guilds were some type of a country or something. And so we kind of were messing around, and I came up with this. The Legion represents Hawaii, right, and diamonds, and the dwarfs will represent Iraq and gold, and then the priests represent like Canada, and that's kind of the disciples, and then Russia would be the Imperial Chantry vampires. The Elf Legion would maybe be China, and it'll be gold as well. The Order of the Blade, I was still working on it. I haven't quite figured it all out, like I said. But there's a whole plan of why they're there, and just kind of a funny way we're going to work it all in. Again, this is just a simple tower. This is Guild of the Brotherhood that you already know about. This is a simple kind of how we're breaking down the wars and the storyline and how everything all fits together. There's different wars that happen and different battles that have to happen for the story to kind of make sense. This is one of the flags that was created to represent TrueCraft. Again, there's a lot of concepts that we did to kind of think of, what could it be, what are the symbols and the shapes, and how would it all fit together into the story. And there's a sequence of battles that kind of have to happen. Again, it'll all break down and make a little more sense later, but I'll explain it as we go in the months to. So basically, another thing you want to think about is, maybe send me a private message, because I'm trying to start a show, and I'm going to basically have a little studio set up in the game on the actual server, and what you'll be able to see, this is kind of a concept of what the screen will look like. There'll be an area where I kind of basically have a video area in the background, and I'll show pictures of things that people are talking about and doing, and then I'll be kind of sitting over here doing the DJ thing, talking, being in game, and then we'll have a little area down here. We'll kind of show your character and your guild and that kind of thing, and more info about you. And then we'll just interview you, and it'll just basically be an interview, talking about you and telling your story. And what I want to know is, I want to know your story of why you play Minecraft, what you do in your normal life, things that you plan on building for the server, any of that kind of stuff. And we'll put it all into a really cool little show, and I'll update that every week, and people can learn about the actual people from the server, because I really want to tell that story of, why you found our server, what you want to do on our server, what it is that you just do in normal life, because it's just interesting to me, and everyone's got a story, and I'd like to hear it. It's kind of one of the points of creating this whole thing, is to find out the true stories of everybody. And so this will be a show for you to kind of use your Minecraft character, and you can either role play and talk about the server, or you can just do a normal interview and talk about what you do in life, and maybe you compose music or something like that, direct music, and you want to talk about that. All I need to know is that, and a story of what you'd like to do, and when we can set a time up, and I can get in there and actually record it. But like I said, a lot to do, so it'll take some time. So just give me your input and let me know. Just kind of a list of the different types of races and generals and guilds we had going on. Again, there's just a lot to it, so I'm not going to go too far into it. This was our area that we kind of started, and we did like an arena, but in the end we ended up coming up with an actual map just for warfare, and we're going to work our way back up to that eventually with a better plan. But the idea was to kind of have a map that showed everything, and basically it was just set up for us to fight. That way people wouldn't get upset about things being grieved. But I think we're just working it all into the story eventually, and we're going to have an area in which you can kind of take over somebody else's area, and you don't destroy necessarily everything. You just essentially destroy like a symbol and a sign, and you redo the sign and you redo the symbol, and you control that area. And they have to kill you and then redo the sign and the symbol themselves, and then they'll be able to actually control it. And there'll be a series of areas that you do that. Let's see. This was, I think, info on the Wikipedia. This is more info on the guilds. Like I said, you can slow down and read all this, pause it if you want. This is how you kind of start off in TrueCraft. Like I said, you want to get your sponsor, your guild, and trade pass, and build pass, and then you want to start your own empire. And then you want to create a kind of a legend.